How's it going, guys? This is a video response for Buzz1151, who has a question, and he's asked people for a little, I guess, advice or some suggestions. He's working on a 1939 Stromberg Carlson radio. Okay, and the way he shows it is this metal washer, which is this right here, is the base of the radio, so the radio is tipped back, and then you'd put the wood on the bottom, and then the screws would go through the bottom. Now, this metal collar, which you see here, and this, which is attached to the actual chassis, they isolate it. So there's a rubber grommet on both sides, which is one piece, and then it slips in between, so this metal doesn't make contact with that metal. Because some of these radios have a live chassis or whatever it might be, and I guess back then it was a way to protect you from getting shocked. Now he's restoring the radio, and he's looking for a way to separate this to put the grommet in. Okay, now I don't know if he has the grommets or he's gonna make the grommets or whatever the deal is. I'll fast forward a little bit so you can see it. Basically, this is a pretty stiff and stout piece right here to here. The other side, on the other side of this plate, they just put a washer on there, and then they just flare it a little bit. Okay? Let's see if we get a little further on. Okay, so that's it flipped upside down now. Okay, so they will put a washer there. This all floats free. This and this are separate pieces. And then they just flare it. And he's looking for a way to be able to take this apart, come up with a grommet idea, and then put it back together in a reasonably simple fashion. Okay, something that, you know, he can understand. I'm not saying he's stupid, but something he can understand and is capable of doing. And he's looking for suggestions. This is my suggestion, and this is the one I'm presenting. I say, go back to here. Here's a side shot of it. I want to go back a little bit more. Okay, that might not be the best angle, but this is threaded all the way down. From what I could see from looking at the angle when they showed down in here, you can see the first thread is right here. Okay, first thread is right here, and when you see the other side, it looks like it's fully threaded. I say this head right here of this washer, which you can see has little dimples that goes into the rubber, I say, if you're looking for a simple way to do it, and he does a lot of cutoffs with using the like a Dremel, I say the simplest idea would be, if you don't want to try and repress that end on, which is probably what I would do, I would say is to cut it right here. Leave a little bit hanging down, and then cut it right here. And the reason I say that is because if you cut it right here, you could take this plate, put your grommet in that goes on both sides, then you slide this shaft in from the bottom side, and that'll be a pressed fit. Alright, and this piece that presses through is not going to stick through the grommet all the way. So when you reassemble on the radio, you just press this one collar in, right, so it'll hold it there, and then when you put the screw in from the bottom, it'll go from these threads into these threads, and the whole piece will stay there. But you have to leave a little bit there, or as you're assembling it, this is going to keep falling off, unless you assemble the radio totally upside down. So I say about 1/4 of an inch, depending on how thick the grommet is, just to hold it in place. You put the screw in, it goes past these threads, into these threads, and you're done. And then this will be totally insulated from this, which is this to this. And I say that is absolutely positively the simplest way. And you don't have to worry about these threads lining up with these threads, because as you put the screw in, when it goes into the next layer of threads, this will lift up a hair if it has to, or whatever it'll do, and it'll line up. It's not like these, you re-welded these two together and now the thread pitch is off from one to the other. It'll re-self-align to it. So that's my suggestion. If you guys have any suggestions, go on his site, check him out. It's definitely cool. I definitely find these radios very interesting. With the amount of electronics I deal with, which is all modern day, I find this old stuff pretty fascinating, and I've definitely learned a lot from watching the radio builds. So that's my suggestion. If anybody has anything and you want to go on his site and watch this whole thing right here that he talks about is only a couple minutes long. Then he works on the radio some more. But if you want to check him out, it's Buzz1151. He's based out of Washington. So, and this is the model radio he's doing right here. It's a 1939. Oh no, it's a 1939 Stromberg Carlson. So a pretty rare unit. So well, that's it, guys. Everybody take care. Another thing, I don't know if you have grommets or you're going to make grommets, but if you're going to make grommets, you could use something similar to this, which is just a grommet with a little collar on it, and let's just assume that that's the piece, and you cut it off like I said, and you pushed it down. Man, I'm doing this through the viewfinder. For argument's sake, you push it down, and then that plate that you're trying to isolate can go on. And if you look, you're already isolated. And then you put the next one on the other way. Whoops, hold on. You're already isolated, and when you tighten it down, that's it, it's done. There's no way they can make contact with each other. So you can go with grommets like that. What these grommets are to, I have no idea. I just went in my parts drawer and looked around real quick to see what I had to make a visual. So, but I think that would be an awesome idea. So, grommet.